1.
My name is Victoria Winters. Once again it is quiet in Collinwood. There is no sound but the ticking of the great clock in the entrance hall, and the lonely footsteps of a woman who hasn't left its grounds in 18 years. A woman whose life is limited to musty corridors and the endless beat of a grandfather clock. A beat that seems to ignore the vitality of the world around it.
What'll you have, Carolyn?
Oh, double champagne on the rocks. But only if you'll promise to drink it out of my slipper.
It'd be kind of hard with those little strappy things you're wearing.
Practical Joe Haskell, the man with the literal mind.
I'll have a beer, Punchy. How about it?
Well, if I can't have champagne, I guess I'll have to settle for ginger ale.
One ginger ale. You want to dance?
No.
Look, I need the exercise.
No means no. It's awfully loud tonight.
Oh, it's no different than usual.
Can't you get somebody to turn it down?
It's not the jukebox, Carolyn.
Look, I'm not making all that noise.
I know. It's not the music either.
Then what's banging in my head, Joe? Would you mind telling me?
A dead man. Bill Malloy. I gotta turn the volume down.
Hooray for my side.
I'm a flop, you know that? Complete failure.
Aren't we all?
I mean, I went up to Collinwood. I picked you up, took you out for the day, and you know why?
Sure. Because you love me.
Now, that I do every day, but today was something different. Today I was gonna try to get you to stop thinking about Bill Malloy.
It's easy, Joe. I stopped.
We had a few laughs, we even had dinner. Now look at us. Trying like crazy, nothing works.
You're a sweet guy.
Oh, yeah, sure. But I wish just once I could see you smile. Is that the best you can do?
I can't stop thinking about it, Joe. I still can't understand how it could have happened.
He fell in the water and drowned.
Do you really believe that?
Well, he did drown. Everybody knows that. Look, Carolyn, why don't we just be smart and stop talking about it, huh? Come on, let's dance.
It just seems so strange.
There's nothing strange about it. He slipped on the rocks somewhere, and he fell. It could happen to anybody.
I suppose.
Well, what do you think it could be? You don't think somebody pushed him in, do you?
No. No, of course not. That's ridiculous. All right, Joe. You wanted to dance? Do.
Miss Studdard. I
I guess so, thank you, Matthew.
Thinking about Mr. Malloy won't bring him back, ma'am.
I know that.
Guess it's hard not to think about it, ain't it?
Yes.
Well, if there's anything I can do, Miss Stoddard, anything at all.
Thank you, Matthew. Matthew,
Ma'am?
when you found Bill's body at the foot of the cliff, before you pushed him out to sea again, you said there were no marks on him.
That's right.
You're sure of that?
There were no marks on him. None at all.
Thank you.
Miss Stoddard. Why did you ask? Did somebody say different?
The sheriff, he was here again today.
Wish they'd never found that body again. Well, it's true, ma'am. They'll never stop hounding you now.
The sheriff's only doing his job.
I like Bill Malloy. He was always real nice to me, but that's why I pushed him back into the water, to keep all these people from pestering you. Is that what they're saying, ma'am? That somebody killed him, something like that?
No.
And why would you be asking me about marks on his body?
There was an autopsy report. He did die of drowning, but there was also evidence of a blow on his head.
That happened later. After I pushed him off Winters Hill, the current must have banged him up against the rocks.
Yes, that's what the sheriff thought.
Why are you still worrying about it? Poor Mr. Malloy will be buried and everything will go on just like it was.
Now, I wish it were that simple.
I don't understand, ma'am. If the sheriff thinks he died a natural death, wouldn't that be the end of any more questions?
From the sheriff, possibly.
Are you saying someone else will still be hounding you?
I don't believe it will ever stop, Matthew. Ever.
This, Carolyn. Nobody have any reason to want to hurt Mr. Malloy.
I know.
Just stop thinking that way.
Hi, kids.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Maggie. What brings you to this den?
What do you mean? This is my dad's exclusive club. Do you mind if I join you?
Oh, no, of course not. How is your dad?
Well, that's just what I was going to ask you. I was wondering if you'd seen him around.
We haven't been around, Maggie. We've been roaming the countryside in a hopeless search for peace and tranquility. What happened to your dad? Did he run away from home?
Have you seen Burke Devlin?
No.
I was sure my dad was here.
Maggie, what's happening? Is anything wrong?
Nothing much. Well, if you do see him, or Burke, will you let me know?
Sure, but is there anything we can do?
Yes. If you see Burke Devlin, you can tell him to pack his bags and go back to wherever he came from.
Oh, that'd be a real pleasure.
What do you have against Burke?
It's the end of the world, that's what I have against him. Things were pretty nice around here for my dad and me until he showed up.
Maggie, I don't know what you're talking about.
You will. In a little while, it'll be all over town. Everybody will know. But the thing is, it's not true. I know it's
Maggie,
not.
has Devlin been hounding your father?
That's what gets me. It's your family he's after, not mine.
Burke isn't after anybody's family.
You live in Collinwood and you can still say that?
Maggie. I wish I knew what you were talking about.
Maybe nothing. But I think it's about time I found out for sure. Well, if you do see my dad, you can tell him that I decided to pay a visit to his companion in crime.
What you're saying, Mom? Burke Devlin will still be bothering you with this Malloy business?
I'm afraid so, yes.
He's got no right to keep digging up everything that happens around here and making trouble out of it.
Matthew, you know the situation as well as I do.
Yeah, I know. He's no good, that one. No good at all.
He's an unhappy man. He thinks he's been wrongly treated.
What do you think he'll do, Miss Stoddard?
Oh, I don't know. I imagine he'll use Bill Malloy's death to make accusations. And there's nothing any of us can do to stop him.
Why'd he ever come back? Why didn't he stay where he was? You're worried about him, aren't you?
Yes, I am. But don't you worry, Matthew. We've survived and will continue to survive.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for your concern. You're a good friend.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Stoddard,
Yes.
may I come in? Is Mr. Collins at home?
Was my brother expecting you, Miss...
Evans. Maggie Evans. No, he wasn't expecting me, but... Well, it's very important. I'm very anxious to talk to him.
Well, why don't you wait inside? I'll see if he's upstairs.
Thank you.
The drawing room is in there, Miss Evans.
Thank you.
Miss Evans,
You scared me, Mrs. Stoddard. I thought you went upstairs.
are you Sam Evans' daughter?
Yes, I am.
Then perhaps you better tell me what you wanted to tell Mr. Collins.
I want to talk to him.
Was it about your father?
Yes.
Did it also involve, Burke Devlin?
Mrs. Stoddard, it took a little courage to come up here. I mean, I've lived in Cullensport all my life, but I've never been within a quarter mile of this place. Now that I am here, I want to talk to the man that I came to see.
You haven't answered my question. You didn't tell me whether it involved Burke Devlin.
Yes, it does. Mrs. Stoddard, he made certain accusations against my father. I want to find out if they're true.
And why come here? Why not ask your father?
Did you know that there was a meeting in your brother's office the night that Bill Malloy died?
Yes. Your father was there, my brother, and Burke Devlin.
Do you know why Mr. Malloy asked my father to come to that meeting?
No, I don't.
Do you know why Burke says that my father was asked to be there?
Yes, I do.
Well,
What would you like me to say, Miss Evans?
I always wondered what it was like in here. It seemed so cold and dark on the outside. Well, Mrs. Stoddard, it's no different in this room. Burke accused my father of withholding evidence, allowing him to go to prison for a crime that your brother committed.
I know. I'm aware he's been saying that.
How can you stand there so coldly? I don't know how you feel about your brother, but my father's very important to me. I love him, and I can't believe that
I'm sorry if I've seemed unconcerned, Miss Evans, but frankly, I didn't quite know what the motive was in your coming here.
I've got to find out the truth. Can't you see that?
Yes, I can. But I think your father'd be able to answer your questions.
But Mrs. Stoddard, I'm so confused. I don't know what is true and what isn't anymore.
What does your father say?
I don't know. I haven't seen him since Burke told me. I've got to see Mr. Collins, please.
I'll see if he's in his room.
Okay, you wait here a second. I'll be back as soon as I pay the bill.
Make it quick, Joe. I'm kind of anxious to get home.
Be right with you.
Matthew.
Evening, Miss Stoddard.
Looking for someone?
Hey,
I didn't know you ever came in here.
don't, miss. This is something special. You didn't happen to see Bert Devlin around here, did you?
No. What do you want with him?
Nothing for you to worry about, miss. I guess he'll be in sooner or later. Miss Stoddard, you going back up to Collingwood from here?
Yes?
When you see your mother, would you tell her something for me? Tell her I said everything's going to be all right. She'll know what I mean.
Wait a minute, Matthew. I'd like to know what you mean.
Bill Malloy, miss. The whole business.
Okay, all set.
Joe, Matthew just came in here. He's waiting for Bert.
Well, what about it?
I don't know. It's just... he seems so strange.
Look, Carolyn, you let him wait for his friends, and you stay with yours, okay? Come on, let's go. We should make up your mind. First you want to get home in a hurry, and then you make me turn around and come back.
I'm sorry, Joe, but I'm worried.
Well, about what, for Pete's sake?
I don't know. Matthew, I have to ask you something.
I thought you went home, miss.
That's where I thought we were going. Hello, Matthew.
Why do you want to see Bert?
Why not? He's such a charming fella. Everybody likes him.
Cut it out. You said something about Bill Malloy. What does it have to do with Burke?
Nothing you or your mother all have to worry about, miss.
Matthew, what are you going to do?
Keep trouble from your mother. Take her home, Joe.
What kind of trouble do you mean?
You started. Your mother's all upset about Bill Malloy. That's bad enough, but Devlin's trying to make it worse.
Why? Why? What's he doing?
Same thing he's been doing since he came back to Collinsport. I warned him once, Miss Stoddard. I told him to stay away from your family, to stop digging after things that were none of his business.
But you're wrong about him.
Please, Miss Stoddard, let Joe take you home.
Burke doesn't want to hurt anybody.
He's done it, miss. Why do you think Mr. Malloy's dead? Only because of him.
But he hasn't...
No, wait a minute, Carolyn. Wait a minute. Hold on. You mean you think Devlin had something to do with Mr. Malloy's death?
That's ridiculous. He drowned accidentally.
Oh, you weren't so sure a few minutes ago when the way you were talking over there.
I know, but... Matthew, is that what you think? That Burke killed Mr. Malloy?
Just do as I ask, miss, please. Tell your mother everything will be straightened out.
Well, I suppose I'll have to come back some other time then.
You certainly can come back if you want to, but I see no reason for it.
How can you say that?
Miss Evans, I know how distressed you are, believe me. When I first heard Burke's accusations, I was just as upset as you. But they're absolutely false. There's not one word of truth to it.
How can I be sure of that?
Because I tell you so. You say you love your father. Then believe in him. Have faith in him.
I want to.
Burke Devlin is a destructive man. He's angry and bitter. Don't forget that.
But why would he lie about my father?
I don't know. Perhaps for some strange reason it suits his purpose to do so.
But that doesn't make sense. Your brother testified against Burke in court. I mean, I can see why he would want to get even. But why implicate my father?
Burke has absolutely no reason to get even, as you put it. My brother testified under oath. He told the truth.
But that still doesn't explain about my father.
I've answered your questions as best I can. I have nothing more to add. I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you.
Miss Evans, do you know what kind of man you're dealing with?
All I know, Mrs. Stoddard, is that my father and Burke used to be good friends.
Do you think that matters to him now? Do you think he let friendship stand in the way? Burke Devlin's goals are set for him. What they are, heaven knows, and I don't know how he expects to achieve them. But I do know this. Nothing's going to stop him. He'd lie, cheat, and even slander an innocent man.
What about murder? Mother, I asked you a question. Do you think Burke is capable of committing murder?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Stay tuned for Where the Action Is next, here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production. Dark Shadows, number 64, BTR.